Newsom publishes memoir as he weighs 2028 U.S. presidential run. India's Modi heads to Israel to strengthen cooperation. Bill Gates took responsibility for his actions over Epstein links, Foundation says. Trump claims Iran working on missiles that could hit U.S. Democrats skip Trump's speech for People's State of the Union. California Governor Gavin Newsom has published his memoir, a move political experts say is often a key step for potential presidential candidates ahead of a future White House bid. Newsom, a Democrat widely seen as a possible contender in the 2028 presidential election, released the book on Tuesday. Analysts say such memoirs allow politicians to shape their public image and outline their vision for the country outside the daily news cycle. Brian Arbour, a political science professor at the City University of New York, said political books help candidates summarize their worldview while maintaining control over publicity. Travis Ridout of Washington State University added that book tours allow potential candidates to campaign informally without declaring their intentions. Newsom, however, rejected suggestions the memoir was written for political timing. Speaking at a promotional event in New York, he said the book, titled Young Man in a Hurry, focuses on the experiences that shaped him, rather than electoral ambition. The book's release was delayed by the January 2025 Los Angeles wildfires. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Israel for a two-day visit aimed at deepening ties with a key trade and defense partner, a move that has drawn criticism at home. In a departure statement, Modi said India and Israel share a strong and multifaceted strategic partnership that has grown significantly in recent years. He is scheduled to hold talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, meet President Isaac Herzog, and address the Knesset. India has steadily expanded cooperation with Israel in defense, agriculture, technology, and cybersecurity, while seeking to balance its broader diplomatic interests across the Middle East. Earlier this week, India and Israel began negotiations in New Delhi for a bilateral free trade agreement. India's government said total merchandise trade between the two countries reached $3.62 billion in the 2024-25 financial year. Diplomatic relations between India and Israel were established in 1992, but ties deepened after Modi took office in 2014. Modi last visited Israel in 2017, followed by a reciprocal visit by Netanyahu in 2018. Both leaders have publicly described each other as friends. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates has taken responsibility for his past ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, according to a spokesperson for the Gates Foundation. The spokesperson was responding to a report by the Wall Street Journal, which said Gates apologized to Foundation staff during a town hall meeting. The report cited a recording of Gates telling employees that it was a serious mistake to spend time with Epstein and to involve Foundation executives in meetings with him. Gates reportedly told staff he was sorry for drawing others into the situation and acknowledged the reputational damage caused by his actions. Documents released by the U.S. Department of Justice show that Gates and Epstein met multiple times after Epstein served a prison sentence, discussing possible philanthropic initiatives. According to the Journal, Gates also told employees that Epstein later learned of two consensual affairs Gates had with Russian women, but said the relationships did not involve Epstein's victims. Gates reportedly said he engaged in no illegal activity and witnessed no wrongdoing. U.S. President Donald Trump has claimed that Iran is seeking to develop long-range missiles capable of striking the United States. Speaking during his State of the Union address on Tuesday, Trump said Iran already has missiles that can threaten Europe and U.S. military bases overseas, and is now working on weapons that could reach American territory. U.S. intelligence assessments have been more cautious. In 2025, the Defense Intelligence Agency said Iran could potentially develop an intercontinental ballistic missile by 2035 if it chose to pursue that capability, but noted there was no evidence such a decision had been made. According to the Congressional Research Service, Iran currently has short and medium-range ballistic missiles with a maximum range of about 3,000 kilometers. The continental United States lies more than 6,000 miles from Iran. Around 30 Democratic lawmakers skipped President Donald Trump's address to the U.S. Congress on Tuesday, instead attending an alternative event titled the People's State of the Union. Speaking to a crowd gathered outside the U.S. Capitol, Democratic Senator Chris Murphy said the president had undermined the institution of Congress and did not deserve their presence. Trump, now serving his second term, delivered his annual State of the Union address to a joint session of Congress, using the speech to defend his administration's record and outline future priorities. The alternative event, held on the National Mall, featured speakers described by organizers as people harmed by Trump's policies. They included an alleged victim of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, family members of deported migrants, and public health researchers who lost jobs following federal budget cuts. Protesters at the gathering held signs reading "Protect Our Democracy" and "No Money for ICE," referring to the U.S. Immigration Enforcement Agency. A separate Democratic event, called the State of the Swamp, was also planned, bringing together celebrities and party figures in protest of the president's address.